Shoo! Hip-hop-lee! Shabobo! Shabisi! Oh, it was fire!
You saw the scrum that Ox did on that Ulsterman on Saturday. It was a thing of beauty. I haven't seen that since who was the guy that was playing for the British and Irish Lions when the Bees sent him airmail, and this happened. Did you see the
Vickery, Phil Vickery?
Phil Vickery, that's it. Who was also a really good prop, but he wasn't on that day. He got a lesson. You saw the clip that I sent you with Ox doing that. I sent it to you. Beautiful. And then the funny part about that was the Irish guy actually acknowledged him. He was like, and he tapped him.
Little smile at each other, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And even Bongi, who just wanted to say so much, just looked at him and thought, I don't have to say anything here. I don't have to say anything.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go to Kings Park with the Springboks front row in evidence. And so the Sharks 22, Ulster 12. Gosh, I didn't watch. Clearly, they didn't pick up on my negative vibes. They won the game, and no Cohen Bosch, which were interestingly, I think he messaged me just before kickoff saying that Bobby Skinstad, or one of the commentators, had flagged Cohen being missing up and flagged it as a bad thing for sure. Which I was thinking, wow.
Is Bobby Skinstad saying he was a pundit in the, I don't know, is it ITV or whatever I was watching it through, and he was saying that he doesn't understand the decisions that Plumtree's made because Cohen Bosch is a world-class player, and we know this, and they should be focusing on trying to win the URC. And he said he thinks the only reason that he's resting these players is because he thinks they're going to focus on the ERC or whatever it is to win that. And I just sat there and thought, well, we must be watching different games, because that's not the case. He has been terrible. The guy that's replaced him playing, I think Cohen Bosch will struggle now to get back in there because he looked good. Bosch was on the bench, and the bad news for you is, Elmer, I don't know if you know this, but the talks with Montpellier have fallen through. So although they were at an advanced stage, Cohen Bosch will be staying at the Sharks for the future at the moment. The other where we did make a bit of sense was Koch and Ox only came on in the second half. So that made a bit of sense. He could have started with him. But just in general, the Sharks look like a different team. Even Itzebeth, he must be one of the best Springbok players ever, because just that guy's presence and him coming back, and he put in such a good shift. I mean, he's such world class, but such a good player. And they just played better. They ran the ball down the back line that they really looked on. Fussy was on. Mapimpi looked, he was there all day. They were attacking well. It was smooth. It was slick. Even the forwards looked better. And especially when Koch and Ox came on with Bongi there. I mean, these very few teams in front rows, they had scrums that can stand up to that lot with Eben behind them. And what I also liked was they brought a young guy on playing lock, 21-year-old blonde guy who looked like he's a similar sort of physique to Eben. And he just got stuck in straight away. I was watching him and I thought, this is like Bucky's Butter. He had some guy's face in the ground, just pushing him down with his elbow. Like a young, fresh-faced 21-year-old. There he was, putting himself about. So the Sharks impressed me, thoroughly deserved that win. And wow, why has it taken them so long to get to this stage? I don't know. It beggars belief with the team they have.
Oh, it does. I mean, having Vincent Koch coming back in and having the three of them on helps enormously, of course. And having Bosch on the bench helps enormously. I know we laugh about that, but it's true. So I'm not sure what Bobby Skinstad was smoking when he said that, but he's not a Shark supporter, is he? I believe he's a Stormers supporter, isn't he? So Did you watch the Stormers? Because when you look at the results, it's 43-21, so an absolute pumping. But I know I had one eye on it on Saturday, not watching it, just looking at the results. It seemed a lot closer through the game, but maybe I'm wrong.
Again, hey, the Stormers looked very good. It was one of those games where I was thinking, if one or two more passes had gone to hand, they could have had a 60-point difference.
Wow, that's
it was
Stormers,
somebody's going to catch them on a really on day, and it's going to be a horrible beating that they're going to get. But Marnie was really good. Marnie was on point.
Making his kicks as well.
Not all of them, no. But they just looked really good. They were Makunu. Is it Makunu that's come from the Lions and then to the Bulls and now down to the Stormers? Him and that Dan, what's his name, Duplessis. They were just running rings around the other team. They broke through the centers half a dozen times, and got caught 1 meter from the line. There was twice when the Stormers scored that the tries were disallowed. That could have, they were a bit like if he could have gone either way. It was all subjective rather than definitive. And yeah, they just looked. I was loving it from a South African spectator point of view. I was like, this is heaven for me. All the teams were just stepped up and they were cooking.
Oh, well, thank you for that. And then on to, it was the one banker I thought for the whole weekend was a Bulls win at Dragons, but it's one thing saying it. They've still got to go and do it. And that also, bad weather as well. Looked pretty convincing there. Dragons 10, Bulls 31, and a pretty strong team. Looked a pretty strong lineup from the Bulls over there. And did you watch that as well, Angie?
Yeah. So that was the last game of the evening, and the Bulls are starting to look good because they're so physical. Like Marcel Coetzee and Eskom.
So physical, those two.
They are
abrasive,
so
horrible players, aren't they? Horrible players.
They're like blunt edges. It's they're just so blunt in the way that they do damage. And now they've got a couple of props, and they had Grobler, he played, and then Jan Hendrik Wessels, the two of them both played, and they look hard. And then they send it down the back line, and you've got these excellent runners. Moody was playing center. You had Orense on the outside. Billy LaRue was playing. Kept on coming in at fly half, spreading the ball wide, throwing those long arcing loops, 20, 30 meter passes, and guys were scoring on the outside. But they had to work for it. The Dragons, they put up a good showing. In fact, a lot better than I thought they would. And again, it was one of those where there was a couple of tries scored that the last pass was forward. Also could have been a bigger gap. But it took them a good 60 minutes to eventually break them down.
Work for us.
Yeah.
Who played fly half, Angie? Do you know?
Chris Smith. Started at fly half. And Gerson, he didn't come on. It was just Chris Smith. He played the entire game. The Bulls next week, on Friday night against Leinster.
Leinster away. Yeah. Top of the table, Leinster against second place Bulls. Oh.
Are the Bulls second, or is Glasgow second?
Bulls are second, Glasgow third. Oh.
All right. So top of the table clash, and Leinster. Have Leinster played them since they knocked Leinster out 2 years ago?
Well, they would have played them last year for sure. Everyone plays one another. But
does everyone play each other? Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember the game at all. But yeah, I look forward to that. Okay, well, if we go over to Ireland and your team, I mean, wow, when I saw that result, because I wasn't following it at all, I just saw the result. I know that didn't tell half the story. I thought, jeepers, the Lions are on this year now. Wow. And they deserved it. Well, they must have deserved it, yeah. And now you're telling me they had 14 men as well. So, gosh. Yeah,
Flabakani put in a high tackle where he hit his face into the other guy's face. The interesting thing about that was he was on his knees when he made the tackle. So it was like, and he was bent.
It was low. Oh.
Yeah, so it was a head on head, but the guy was on his knees. Like he fell forward onto his knees and then tackled into him. So one of the linesmen tried to talk the ref out of a red card. It didn't work. In the current climate of the laws, he deserved a yellow at least. I don't think he deserved a red because there was no intention. It wasn't malicious. At 153 kilograms, it's going to be hard not to have momentum behind you. But the Lions regrouped, played with 14 men, I think, for 71 minutes, and just seemed really fit. And the game swung because they went behind for a little bit, and then they came back and went ahead, and eventually the damn walls broke. And funnily enough, they won that game by going wide against Connacht. So with 14 men going wide, I think the only thing I can say in Connacht's defence is they didn't have all of their island players back. Yeah, so, Kurtley, Bielam, Bandiaki, Hansen, they weren't playing. But it was a good game. It was a good game.
You played 9 and 10, aren't you?
Yeah, so Nahamba played 9 and Hendrickson played 10.
Okay, he's reverted back to the other one.
I think he might. It was a good game, really enjoyable. Again, if you South African, it's it was just a great day of rugby for me. I enjoyed it. Excellent. I don't think we can underestimate how the Springboks winning the World Cup and just get that feel good back into the country assists in lifting the franchises too. And look, the Sharks have taken a while, but now suddenly look like a team that shouldn't be sitting at the bottom of the log. Well, so I don't know if they can make a late run to try and get in at 8th. I don't know what the points gap is, but they need to give their fans something back.
Yeah, and that they will be going out all out in Europe, that's for sure. That's one thing Bobby Skinstad was correct about. They will be targeting that. But in terms of the table at the moment, you've got Leinster on top with 49 points. The Bulls second, 45 points. Then Glasgow, 44. Munster, 39. Stormers, 35. Edinburgh, 34. Ulster, 34. Lions, 34. So that's your top 8. Very crowded. Just below the Lions, you've got Connacht, 33. Benetton, who's fallen away completely, to 33. On Ospreys to 30. They're the 3 below. None of the others, they're too far behind. They're like 23, 19, 20, etc. So Lions are in with a shout now. They've a win away from home. And this coming week you're still away, but you go to the Ospreys, who are just behind you, and chase him down. The Bulls go to Leinster, and the Stormers at home to Ulster, who fly from Durban to Cape Town.
Just slow down there a bit. Who the Lions play?
The Lions are away to the Ospreys in Wales.
Okay, so I mean, the Lions, but it'll be a tough ask. Okay, so I mean, that'll be a good game. They've got everything to play for here.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams have.
Yeah. Okay, and then who do the Stormers play?
They're at home to Ulster, who have just played the Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, this Stormers side, like I said, I think when they click, those outside backs of theirs are incredible. Damian Willemse, in my view, and look, I don't watch all I don't watch 15. I don't watch all the games, like, obviously, but I would have to say he's probably the best player in the world at the moment. The things he was doing, were ridiculous. And even the commentators were saying, wow, this guy's special. Just his footwork, his handling, his confidence. I mean, he's like a Ronaldo of rugby. Just the little tricks and more like a Ronaldinho of rugby. Like the way he does things is so good. He did go overboard once or twice where he did, it was a 2-on-1 and they're going to score a try, and he flicked it out the back, chicken wing style, and the guy missed it, and which would have been a sure try. And he is good though when he doesn't do that when they're not 20 points ahead. I mean, he's not reckless for the Springboks at all, and he's generally not reckless with the Stormers either. But I think he got carried away a little bit. He was having fun. He was having fun, and he looked very good. I enjoy watching him. It's so enjoyable to watch.
You, me too. When the Stormers do click, they do look as if they're having fun. It comes across. Well, they're smiling, aren't they? Must be great to play amongst them if you can keep up with them. That is.
Yeah.
Okay. In other URC games, Glasgow beat Cardiff at home. Munster won away at the Ospreys. Lions go there next. Scarlets, you just can't seem to win a game. One at home to Benetton, who seem to be falling away now. And Leinster went to Zebra and absolutely smashed them. Yeah, so it's getting really, really interesting and exciting now. There's not many games left. I think there's something like four games left, I think, before the quarterfinals, semi-finals. So, yeah, all good.
Clark, my arm. Now look on your arm. Marks, my pinky. I can't put T-Rex. I like to look on your arm. Marks on the ball. T-Rex, my pinky. Orange, the man. Les Cassous, hip-hop, les Champopo, Champisi. Oh, it was